Hello, I'm Dane, and this is Dane Explains. Most Protestants who convert to Catholicism do so because they come to realize the Catholic Church is the church that Jesus founded. However, the recent headlines about Pope Francis allowing so-called same-sex blessings has brought to light what a problem Pope Francis is for traditional Catholics trying to attract others to the church. As Pope Francis himself said, the church cannot bless sin. And the Catholic Church, and most Christians for that matter, recognize and have recognized for many centuries that Christian scripture clearly shows homosexual relations are always a sin. So, what's up with Pope Francis? How can the so-called infallible leader of the Catholic Church use the teaching office of the Church to promote activities which are against church teaching? Let me explain. It's been increasingly clear, even to people with their heads buried meters deep in the sand, Pope Francis is a progressive. There are quite a few Catholic apologists, or should I say excusationists, trying to excuse everything Pope Francis is doing by saying it's within church teaching. On the other hand, you have many people who call themselves radical traditionalists, who claim Pope Francis is a heretic. Who's right? Well, first off, Pope Francis is not the most progressive pope we've had. That ground, at least when it comes to modern progressive theology, probably goes to Pope Paul VI. Under Pope Francis, the church has changed a bit, but not nearly as drastically as it did under Pope Paul VI. I'm not going to go into the details of that in this video, but only the more radical of the radical traditionalists, also called sedevacantists, would call Pope Paul VI a heretic. So, what am I saying? Well, for the most part, the apologists who defend Pope Francis are correct. He hasn't technically changed church teaching. The recent headlines about Pope Francis approving same-sex blessings is hype. Basically, the document acknowledges that anyone can and often do receive blessings, even grave sinners. The issue here is what Dr. Taylor Marshall likes to call weaponized ambiguity. Most people aren't going to read what Pope Francis actually said, and I think Pope Francis knows it. In my opinion, the mental gymnastics Pope Francis has been performing is similar to the legal gymnastics the Supreme Court performed to declare the individual mandate of Obamacare constitutional according to U.S. law. For those who don't remember, the individual mandate in Obamacare legally compelled Americans to buy health care or receive a fine. Fining someone for not buying something is not constitutional. So, the Supreme Court legislated from the bench by saying the law is constitutional because the so-called fine could actually be considered a tax, which is applied to people who don't purchase insurance. Pope Francis seems to be doing something very similar here by saying the church can't bless a gay couple's union, but they can bless the couple as long as they're not blessing the sinful part of their relationship. The external function is the same. The couple is getting a blessing, but under the hood, the way they're getting there carefully avoids contradicting church teaching. These sorts of shenanigans are what's kept Pope Francis from directly contradicting church teaching, for the most part. If you want to know what I mean by that, I did a video a while back you might want to watch. Link in the description. So, where does this leave us? Well, when I was growing up, I liked the idea of lying less and less. Eventually, I stopped lying altogether. Even white lies. However, I figured out ways of getting around lying without technically telling the truth either. My mother liked to call it Jesuitizing. It's effectively the same thing as lying, although one is always considered a sin and the other is only usually a sin. So, to answer the question, where does this leave us? Well, it appears to leave us with the Jesuit Pope. Please pray for the Pope and for the Church. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please press the like button. Subscribe to my channel and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon, link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.